Good evening. Welcome to today's talk on good vibes and its ripple effect. You did see the leaflet or read about it, and good evening to the online viewers as well. So, what's mentioned on the leaflet, an example that how if you say kind of throw a stone in a quiet, still water, you suddenly see circles around and then it fizzles out. So, here too, whatever we think, whatever we feel, the emotions we have, the vibrations we share has an impact. And so often we don't realize that we think, I'm sitting here when nobody's watching me. So, how is it going to affect one way or the other? But it does. And if we understand that, we will be very careful about how we talk, what we think. The mic is on. So I just share again. So the theme this evening, it's good vibes and its ripple effect. And the example we were looking at is when we put a stone in still water. Imagine a lake or a valley or even the ocean. You will see there's circular movements and there's ripples around it. And then after a while that it finishes. So similarly, whatever we think, whatever we feel, we may or may not realize, but we are actually sharing those thoughts and those feelings in the form of vibrations. And there is an impact that's happening. So who are the things or who are the people or what we should be keeping in mind when we're having these thoughts or any thoughts? So the impact we have through our thoughts, the worldwide, but starting with the immediate people in our contact, maybe relatives, friends, colleagues, neighbors, and then the environment. And also, in fact, we have connections with wealth, with situations, and then it grows into worldwide family. So sometimes we think, how am I going to impact? I'm a small person or I miss no one or nobody. I can think however I want. I can feel however I want, and it will not matter, but it does. And how good vibrations, good wishes help people in difficult situations. You know, when we've done good karma and people send good wishes, I'd like to just share something that happened just this afternoon as I was coming here. I hopped on the bus and there was some road work, so I take two buses. So I was waiting at the other bus stop in between. And here's a lady from nowhere. She was waiting and there was just two of us. And she started to tell me, saying, do you rent a place? Do you own a place? And how much do you pay for your water, etc.? Because she wanted to help people. She says, since after pandemic, there are all these things that you could look into and avoid paying bills. And then she went on to saying various things like that. So maybe that's something she wants to share. So whoever she meets, wherever she goes, she must be doing that, because instantly, as soon as she saw me, she started. And she had the numbers in mind and whatever. None of that, of course, was useful to me, but for many, it may be very useful. So for the ones that have been, who it would be more useful when they hear and they imply and they get the benefit, what would be they doing? she was doing it free of charge. But in return, the one who is benefiting, what would they do? Send good, share it, but also send good wishes. So this is time for us to really reflect on is that how much of these good wishes through my actions in my life have I accumulated? And if I haven't, what more can I do? Or if I haven't accumulated enough, I'm sure we've all done something kind. And how does one feel when we are kind? Yeah? It gives us more strength to do more. And, this act of kindness, often you may not see instant result. Maybe it is after years. And we've heard many stories, and I'm sure many of you may be aware of, and these are true stories, that there was a boy who wanted to buy medication for his mom, but he was poor. And so everybody's kind of not helping him. The chemist is saying, unless you pay me, I can't give you medicine all the time. And there was a person who was running a restaurant next to him, saw this boy coming and asking, and he felt he was a genuine person, genuine in his need. So he actually paid for his medication and also gave him some food to take for his mom. Heard the story? And years later, what happened is this guy who was running a restaurant becomes ill. And in order to pay for his treatment, the daughter had to sell a lot of the businesses and didn't have enough money to pay. And so when she goes to pay the bill or asks for the bill of the, at the hospital, in return, the doctor who had treated him, once he knows who this guy was, he says, paid with the act of kindness this many years ago. Just imagine, and there's are many true stories, like you heard the story about offering somebody a glass of milk and their hope in humanity, their trust in humanity increased. And they went and become a very good profession, a professional person. And then they were serving. So we may not realize there may be a small act of kindness, but it goes a long way. And yes, today we're not here to talk about karma but these are all related. So I just wanted to share. So best wishes, good wishes, one of the practice we have at all our centers, and I can especially talk about this center and our main center in Wilston, that most mornings, most days when we have advanced study classes, there are pauses for meditation. We have before the study class, in between, and then after the study class. So often then during the announcements of what events are happening and the talks we're going to be doing, so often, and especially in the last few years, we've seen practically every day, we're thinking of somebody who's in need. So somebody's friend is in the hospital, somebody has met with an accident, or somebody is going through major treatment. And the good wishes reaches, where you may think, okay, you mentioned it, you heard it, and that's it. But if you sincerely follow in your meditation, in your prayers, remember and help that soul or help that situation, then you will see that it actually reaches them. It doesn't mean that, they will suddenly become totally all right, but it gives them the strength to make the right decisions, the right choices, have the patience, have the perseverance. And these are very important things. I'd share an example of one of the sisters who has been practicing meditation with us for years. And, she would hear these announcements of best wishes for this soul and that soul and this situation. And she would wonder, really, is it impactful? Yeah? But she never questioned it, of course, because she knew that it does work, but she didn't know to what extent. And a few years ago, she actually, fell down, had fracture. and I had to go through treatment for a few weeks. And it's when she recovered completely, that's when she shared with the family, or whenever we went to see her, she shared with, saying, I used to always think that what is the impact of those good wishes we do during our meditation, which is during this treatment, I really actually felt that how much it helped me. And okay, though she was not so mobile during that treatment, but she says, I didn't have pain, which is quite unheard of for the treatment she was going through and the fracture she had. It would have been very, very painful. But it's people's good wishes because of the fact that she's been very helpful to so many. And sincerely, everybody was sending her good wishes. So in the current time where we are today, what do we hear all the time? When you switch on the telly, or when you read a newspaper, which probably doesn't happen anymore so much, but through your mobiles or through your gadgets, what is it that normally is bombarded to us? There's very few positive news that we receive these days. It's mostly negative. This went wrong. This is happening. That's happening. So do we have control over that? Do we have control over that physically? Probably not. Maybe we're not in a profession or not in a position to have a control and impact. But it's for us to realize that we do have some control. And control in the sense that people who are doing everything that's making this world go from, what should say, bad to worse and worse to worst. But we can help it to get it from being good and then being better and actually then to the best. And so how does that work? We all understand the power of positive thoughts, right? Every time when we've had positive thoughts, we've seen the achievements we've made. Yeah, we've seen the success. And even if we haven't achieved what we set out for, but we've not been left with feeling empty. Sometimes we succeed things, but we've used haphazard methods to get there, then there isn't that internal satisfaction. Yeah. So that satisfaction comes, when we've been positive and we have had patience and we've continually, trying to be positive. And not just trying, actually being positive. So then the result is that at least there is the feeling of hope. There is the feeling of happiness. There's the feeling that I want to do more. I want to give more. And not that I want, but I want to give more. So positive vibes or good vibes. And sometimes, vibrations are such a thing that maybe somebody may not even talk to us. But in their company, we feel safe. We feel welcomed. We feel we belong. They don't necessarily give time, to sit down and chat for hours. And some find a way to show their love by sitting down, chatting, socializing. And others just through their vibrations, through their presence, or maybe just a few words, or even just a smile would be enough for you to think, yes, I want to be here. I want to be in this company. I want to carry on. And, I remember so many of our seniors, this month, we're especially remembering Dadi Prakashmani, who was the head, since 1969, when our founding father left the body till 2007. And before she became the main leader or the admin, like a lot of people questioned that, okay, now the main founder is gone. What will happen to the organization? But in fact, in her leadership, the centers worldwide were opened. But what was it? It was, she works so much, not just through sharing the wisdom, but through vibrations, through humility, through being friendly, being empathetic. We've been listening about those who have met her and their personal experiences with her, that how she would really be so empathetic, that she would find ways to give you solutions. She'll go out of her way to do that. So if we look back in our lives, am I doing that? Am I available for people? Am I available for world service? Whether it's through actions, whether through its finance, whether it's through my skills, whether it's through powerful thoughts. And top of the list is the positive thoughts. And so what I'm going to share is that some of the methods, practical methods that we can include on our daily routine so that it becomes a part of our practice. We don't have to make extra effort or find time or, do something unusual to be able to share. And one of the practice we have is traffic control. Many of you are familiar with that every hour on the hour, we try and pause for a minute and just sharing those powerful and positive vibrations with the world. And something that we've been doing for years, like every third Sunday of the month, most of our local centers, where most of our centers would observe evening meditation for an hour, which is known as a World Peace Hour. And this we've been doing from 70s. And so is to traffic control, but we didn't do it every hour. And in the last 10, 15 years, we've been actually observing it every hour, the traffic control. So these are practical methods, but now it's not just waiting for third Sunday of the month to come where we can start sharing with the world. When it started, this practice worldwide with the Brahma Kumari centers, the world was not as bad. There was a lot of peace still. But now I think we have to do it minimum maybe 3 times a day. Every time we meditate, every time we sit for our prayers, am I contributing part of that time for world peace, world harmony? Like the world news that we're listening to, daily there is improvement in terms of scientific researches of how powerful the nuclear bombs can be, the nuclear weapons can be. And, it's becoming easier and easier just sitting down, pressing a button and blasting something. Before, in the early days, what has to happen? We had to cannons and bullets and whatnot. And how many would it harm? Very few. And now one click of the button and off you're gone. So if science can advance so much and it's being used for the wrong reasons, because if same scientific discoveries could be used for making the world a better place, there wouldn't have been no war. We all would have enough, more than enough. And we would all be happy. Nobody would have to be in poverty. Nobody would have ill health. And nobody would have mental health issues. But the reality is that it's not happening like that. So what is science based on? Any discoveries of science, where do they happen? How do they happen? Simple question. I'm not asking you for a trick answer. I'm not asking for a place or a name of a city or a country. Experimenting, but the experimentation happens in silence. Yeah. See, any experiments in the laboratories is in silence. They need full focus, full concentration. So basis of science is also silence. And the basis of spirituality is also silence. So as those scientific inventions are happening and, what shall we say, more and more versatile equipments and weapons and disastrous things can happen, can we not combat through our silence, finding different tools and methods to combat that? It's possible, isn't it? So that's the job of good vibrations. So it's not just my immediate family, but I can have an impact worldwide just sitting where I am. Just a switch off button. And the switch is understanding who I am. I am a being of light. I am a being of light with so many positive qualities, qualities like happiness, qualities like peace, qualities like purity, qualities like wisdom, love, mercy. These are my own qualities. And these are innate qualities for all of us. And if I am able to do that, I'm able to share that in the vibration, in the atmosphere around. And through my thoughts, I can reach further than the rockets could reach, way further. Try it. I think all of you have had some experience. Many of you are regular meditators. So I'm not exaggerating by saying that silence is far more powerful than science. Even 100 years ago, our means of transportation, if you looked at how did our grandparents travel? And today it's becoming more and more sophisticated, more and more easier. But then there's no guarantee, right? When anything science invents, there's no guarantee whether it's not going to be used for destructive purposes. A plane can take us from one place to another place in no time. Like I remember that even in my childhood, my relatives used to tell me that when they moved, they used to come from India to Dubai. It would take them 4 days on the ship. It would take them about 4 days to come on the ship. And now it's on the flight is 2.5 hours or less. You could have one meal at wherever you are, and the next meal you reach your destination. So on one hand, the science or scientific inventions can take us from one place to another. But at the same time, if that plane was to crash, what would happen? So much sorrow, isn't it? But in silence, there is no sorrow. Our good wishes, there is no sorrow. There is just happiness. And good wishes, certainly for the ones who are kind to us, the ones who are dear and nearer to us, but especially also good wishes for those who are not so dear and near to us, and those who are challenging us, those whose nature and personality we cannot resonate with, we cannot, find it difficult, we can't bear sometimes. But even them, we have to have good wishes. In Hindi, there is this saying, par apkari par bhi kar upkar. So you being nice to somebody who's nice to you is normal, is human. But to actually be nice to somebody who's not being nice to you. Now, that doesn't mean I allow them to take us for a ride. It doesn't mean that I allow them to abuse me. But in my heart, if there is any negativity for anybody, if there is any, shall we say, any kind of animosity or even a grudge, let me check, let me change, because that will stop me from moving further. So that's what is about good vibrations, good vibes. Really looking within and seeing and cleaning my heart, that there's nothing but just good wishes. And even the ones that have been difficult in terms of relating or whether it's the weather, it's the situation, or people especially, can I really have good thoughts for them too? So another method is to never to compare, because so often we compare, and in comparison, either I'm jealous of you or I think I'm superior to you. So it's not our self-respect to compare. Dadi Janki, who was a previous head of the organization, and I think in most talks and sessions that I share, I do remember her. And she passed away at the age of 104 years. And she would often say, when you do things that are not up to the mark, in Hindi she would say, "Ye tumhari shaan nahi hai." It's not honorable for you to do this. And so to have a bad thought for somebody is not honorable for us. And those words really kind of echoing in your ears the moment you think ill about somebody, or less about somebody, not even ill, or you want to avoid them, or you want to say, oh God, when am I going to get rid of them? When am I going to stop having to see all these nonsense? Instantly change, because it's not honorable for us to think that way. Meri shaan nahi hai. And so these are the methods where we can continually have good vibrations, good thoughts for everybody. It's the power of positive thoughts. No comparison. Learning to take pauses, to stop, to reflect, and to contribute to the world peace. If you can do it every hour, it's good. But if not, as often as you can. And especially your morning time and going to bed. It's like often what we're doing is we look at our gadgets. I mean, sometimes I'm guilty of doing that myself. So as I'm sharing with you, I'm sharing to myself that, okay, throughout the day, you've been running, and you haven't seen all the messages you want to. But it should not be the last thing at night. The last thing at night should be some positive thoughts, some remembrance of the divine, remembrance of who you are, and preparing yourself for the next day to come. Just like, say, if you people are working, they prepare the night before. They've got their things ready to make the sandwiches or the food, everything in its place. The clothes are out. So in the morning, it can be all done in a good time. Similarly, how do I want my tomorrow to be? So reflecting on the day, having the gratitude journal, that's also a very good method. But starting your day with a thought of gratitude and also finishing your day. I was just thinking that today, as I was coming on the bus, there was some road work, so I had to change a combination. I wouldn't normally get one straight bus here if I came on the bus. And yes, you could feel that you're spending extra half an hour to get somewhere. But on the other hand, I was thinking, as I was also preparing for this evening in my mind, thinking of the theme, that at least we have some buses running. At least I am able to move from one place to another. And, this beautiful lady that I met on the bus stop, which I wouldn't have if I had taken the straight bus. And she really told a few beautiful things. Only maybe one of them was something I could imply on. But it's just lovely to see that people like that still exist in the world, right? And I don't think she was following any kind of spiritual path necessarily, but people are genuinely still human in many ways. It was a very comforting thought and comforting scene to observe. So good vibrations. So pauses during the day, and then starting your day, finishing your day. And throughout the day, just this awareness of being a soul, of being a light, situated here in the center of the forehead. That really is, what shall we say, it becomes like an armor for us. Because the world today is full of uncertainty. Yeah, we don't know what's coming next in our scenes of, we say, world stage drama. What is our protection? Protection is that the more I see myself as this being of light and be in the remembrance of the divine, there's that protection. Now, that doesn't mean we'll never have to leave this body. We've all come, we have to go one day. But it will not be out of stress. It will not be through uncertainty. It will be, whenever it happens, after I'm meant to leave the body, it will be through my own consent in a way. That yes, I'm ready to go in whatever situation. It could be in a war zone situation, I could be in a calamity, I could be in a crash, whatever it is, or I could be in a natural, time to pass away in terms of natural death. But what I mean by protection is that even our last breath would be full of good wishes, would be full with gratitude. It wouldn't be with regret that, oh, I could have done this, but I didn't do this. It would not be that, oh, I'm not ready to go, but I have to go kind of thing. Yeah. So in a way, it is the time for us to prepare for the last scenes in some ways. And like in a study, we call it dying alive. Yeah. Whilst we are alive, let's let go of all the attachments we have. Because what's going to stop us is the attachments, isn't it? What's going to become a restriction for us is our own attachments. An attachment could be even to cooking food. The attachment could be to a relative. Attachment could be to my job, my position, the way I look, the way I talk. So it could be anything. My beliefs has to be the best. And anybody who says anything different, they're nobody. We have these awarenesses. We have to let go. Because that's the one that's going to give us the most sorrow. Not just give us, but is what's giving us the sorrow. And when there is sorrow within, I cannot share good vibes. Yeah. Why is there so much mental health issues? I mean, really, some of these souls that you see going through mental health issues, the physical surroundings are okay. There isn't that kind of financial pull. What is it? Because there hasn't been probably that self-love, or there has been a suppression, which leads into depression and then various mental health issues. Because it's a big illness these days. And I know government is doing so much about it. But why not focus on precautions than cure? And so keeping our hearts clean, keeping good wishes for everybody is the precaution. Yeah. And of course, starting with myself, the self-love. Unless there is self-love, I cannot really share that love with others. Because as maybe the head of the family, or especially being the mother of the family or the father of the family, or the one that was financially supporting the family, or whichever way your responsibilities may be, we think unless we put others in front, we cannot be happy. We have to make others happy. And in their happiness is our happiness, which is true, how it should be. But we also have to understand, unless I'm really happy, I cannot share happiness, no matter how much running I do. And this is why after doing all that running around, yet we are not able to please our families. Yet we are not able to please our friends completely. And at the end of the day, what happens to us is burnt out, and we get tired. We can't carry on, or even if we have to carry on, there's illnesses, there is frustration, and there's just feeling of being suppressed. So priority, the good vibes, good feelings, positive thoughts starts with ourselves. Charity begins at home. So start with myself, with my immediate connections, then the neighborhood, and then extend it worldwide, right? So, every day is a new day for us. Every day should be a happy day for us. In fact, every moment should be. But at least let's begin our day and finish our day with that happiness and that gratitude. And one of the other method I'd like to share with when we're saying, to send good wishes to people, like in our meditations, often there's announcements before our meditation that so and so is not well, etc., etc. Or we see, what's happening worldwide. I don't need to mention the cities and the countries where there is so much wrong and chaos happening. So, be it the war, be it natural calamities, one of the things we have to be clear is not to take sides. You may belong to a certain group, you may belong to a certain country, you may have originated from there, and you say, oh no, this is right and this is wrong. This is something, when the Twin Towers situation happened, a lot of the people were getting into arguments as to this one is responsible, that one is responsible. And again, I quote Dadi Janki here, and she says, stop taking sides. Stop blaming anybody. What you are meant to do is how can you send peace there? How can you make that person powerful, that they take the right decision? And some of you who come here regularly, and it's lovely to see many of you faces first time, so special welcome. So one of our brothers was working there on the Twin Tower when it happened, and he was on the 65th floor, and how by his instinct he just came down, and many of them were stopping him from coming down, and he said, whoever wants to follow me, follow me. And the ones who were kind of suggesting, whoever they are, the first aiders or the firemen, and we were telling him not to come down. He says, I'm going down with my own responsibility. I will not claim if anything goes wrong. Yeah. So he guaranteed them and he came. And soon after he came, within no time, the Twin Tower fell. And he still arrived. And he always, when he shares, he says, this is my new life. So he was always very much serviceable. He always used to think about others, but even more so now. So clarity of mind can only come when there is that daily practice. Yeah. We cannot say, okay, the situation comes and we'll do it. So I was talking about what exactly we can do, a simple method that often Sister Jayanti, who's the additional administrative head of the Brahma Kumaris, and many of you have met her. And if not, I would ask you to look up on the YouTube. There are lots and lots of discourses by her on the YouTube. And she would say that whoever you're sending the vibrations to, just for a second, think about them. You can, get their picture in front of you if you want. Just think just for a second or two. And that's it. Then you meditate. And you're not thinking that, oh, they've got cancer, or they've got this burnt, or they've got this thing going wrong, or they're in a financial crisis. None of that. Just meditation. And we'll have a taster of that towards the end if for those of you who are new to meditation. So you're not even throughout the meditation thinking of that person, just to begin with, that you're especially sending this, contributing to their benefit. Yeah. And it's not to say if they benefit, you're not going to benefit, because it's reaching them and they will be sending good wishes to you too for helping them. And you're meditating, so you're accumulating anyway. So this kind of spiritual effort, you're not at loss at all. It's nothing but just investment, an investment that continually brings you fruits. Sorry if I'm talking in accounting kind of language, but some things when you give, it leaves you. But here, the more you give, the more you receive. Yeah? And in giving is receiving. And it's not because I want to receive, but it's honorable for me to share. It is actually my nature to share. It is because that is what will bring me happiness. Yeah? Because if I'm doing things that are natural to me, that's where I'm going to be happy. Right? So I'll pause here if you have any questions, any thoughts. Can wait for a microphone to come because there are people listening to us online as well. Yes, you have a thought?
Hi, Om Shanti Di. Hello, John. Om Shanti Di. Just one question. I'm very helpful. Just if I do things which are natural to me, I'll be happy, right? Now there comes this conundrum of adapting, right? Wherein we try to accommodate personal or professional life, people, personalities, and behaviors which may or may not necessarily relate to your original state. Now, where do we draw a line where we start not being reactive, not being frustrated, and then so where do we kind of have that, how do we get that awareness that this is it, I'm not going to go beyond that?
I think, as I mentioned earlier, that the more I practice being in this awareness of being this point of light, the soul, and that connection with the divine. Because when I connect with the divine, with the ocean of clarity, even if I don't have the clarity or the experience, or I'm not sure if they're playing, or, misguiding me, or saying one thing, but they're actually something different. But that connection with the divine will make me take the right decision. But I need to be open to that and allow my past to be past. Park it. It's not that I'm not aware of these things, but I'm not allowing it to influence my present decision making as to what my next call of action should be. But that connection with divine is very, very important. And regular spiritual study on a daily basis gives us food for the thought. And when, as we always, feed our bodies, that for our mind also we need the right kind of food. And that right kind of food will allow us to perform right kind of actions, and the right kind of actions will then allow us to create habits that are positive. Then it can be autopilot, not a problem. Anybody else has a question, comment? Okay. And even if those who are watching online, if you have any thoughts, you can put it on the chat.
When is the best time to meditate?
The best time to meditate is early in the morning.
No, the worst.
Worst time. Okay. Let me tell you the best time to meditate, then I can tell you the worst time to meditate. The best time to meditate is from 2 to 5 in the morning, and then in the evening, 6 to 8. So these are the best times to meditate. And the worst time to meditate, maybe after 10 o'clock, more close to 11, 12, till dawn is not the right time to meditate, because vibration wise, it is the most heaviest time to meditate. You know, like today, we hear a lot of stealing, etc., goes on during the day. But, you know, even a few years ago, most of the theft, when did it happen? At nights? Yeah, it's only now we see any time of the day it happens, because then this is also another sign of the darkest period maybe we are in. So it's the worst time is maybe after 11 o'clock till maybe 1, 2. Actually, 1, 2 a.m. Yeah. And that's probably many times we do a lot of wrong things, right? And so it's heavy duty vibrations. And so it's not that we cannot meditate, but it will be not so fruitful. And the best time is from 2 to 5 in the morning, and then again in the evening, the dawn period and the dusk time. Okay. And so let's really learning to be yourself, which is, as I said, true when I say natural is not in terms of my likes and dislikes, but in terms of my innate qualities, yeah, which are that of peace, love, happiness. And, you know, if I have made mistakes, I look at it and I change. I don't need to be feeling guilty about it for a long time. And it's enough just to understand and change. But when we keep thinking that, oh, I did this and I shouldn't have done this, and we apologize umpteen times, it's actually not helping us. So when we're saying being true to yourself is also being not feeling guilty and not feeling always apologizing. Yes, you do when you make a mistake, but then you learn from there and you move on. And always remember that each of us can make a difference. And the smallest steps we take can actually make a major difference. And so these are times we really need to reflect. In fact, at least once, twice a day, we should try and reflect as to, am I leading my life as per the purpose? In fact, maybe first we need to find out what is our purpose. And as you think more and more about it, you will find that your purpose will becoming more deeper, more spiritual. And then you have to try and match what you're doing is in accordance with your purpose, because that's what's going to give you maximum strength, maximum happiness, and benefit worldwide. Yeah, so it's not to say my purpose is something, but then I get caught up in the rat race. Sometimes we need to take a major break from whatever we're doing, if possible. Sometimes externally it's not possible. You're supporting a family. You can't suddenly think of change of career or change of whatever. But many a times we have to. See, many of the people, I think many of you that I see around, I can probably feel that I'm sure most of you were not born here. Maybe some of you were. Came from a different country or different setup. Or even if you are in London, maybe you were born somewhere else in the UK. But at certain time in your life, you had to take the decision that I need to take this profession, or I need to move from this place to another place. And it may take some time to adjust. It may take feel, and you may question whether this right or this wrong. But again, as I shared earlier, the more I'm soul conscious, the more I connect with divine, the clarity will come. And so often the clarity that comes as in, okay, take this step, is very different to what you've been doing. So different that you doubt yourself. But don't doubt yourself. Don't doubt your inner voice. Go for it. That, of course, inner voice should not be the one that is of a weak me, but the real me. And that can only come through my connection with the divine. Okay. So I'd like to suggest for those who have not done the meditation course to look up, and I'm sure there will be some announcements as well after meditation. There are some sites I could like to refer to you, like our app called B-Zone app. There's lots of little meditation. Our website, or Just a Minute, which is about a minute every hour. And there are others also that Sisters at Reception can help you with. So just, when you have all in your gadgets, you have all the other things. It's good to have these apps that remind you to take a break and also provide you with various few minutes long meditation to start you off at least. Then as you progress, you can create your own, or you can mix and match, do some on your own, some, listening to this commentaries. At least it gives you an idea of what kind of thoughts to create. So I'll share a few thoughts just to give you an example of how we can contribute to the world. So sit back relaxed, the feet on the ground. And your arms held loosely. I would suggest you try and follow this meditation with your eyes open if you can. You can look at the poster behind me. Select a point there in the center, or you can focus in the center of my forehead, or any point which is at an eye level that you'd like to select. Just for a few seconds, if you wish to close your eyes, you can, and then open them again, allowing that point to be your point of focus. Continue to breathe in and breathe out gently and deeply and naturally. Taking your thoughts within, becoming aware of yourself as a being of light. I look within to see if there is any stress, any ill feelings for anyone or someone's personality or a situation. Or if there is a feeling of comparison or jealousy. there is any feeling of being inferior or superior to others. There's carelessness, or this habit of procrastinating things. I now understand all of these are the blocks or the blockages on this road of life. So the journey is not so smooth. And in relationships where I sense I'm doing things because I have to, I ought to, I now change it to I want to, I like to. Instead of feeling jealous of somebody, I learn to respect what they're capable of. I don't see them as a threat. In fact, we can coexist, complementing each other. Let go of any ill feelings I have for anyone or any situation. So I am the master and I am in charge and in control of how I feel. Now I remind myself my inner qualities of peace, of love, of happiness. I share this through my thoughts. To my surroundings, then the neighborhood, and to the world, especially reaching out to those in need, be it a human being, be it the nature, be it the animals or birds. Because each one and everyone and everything matters. I visualize the world as I'd like to see it. Rather than complaining or keep on hoping, I actually see others as I want them to be, the positive them, with no internal intentions of personal benefit, but just best wishes for them and the world. And I keep sending those vibrations. And the beauty that I see of the world as I want it to be. I'm contributing to the world peace and making this world a better place. And as I continue to do that, become the best place. Om Shanti. I am peace. Om Shanti. I am peace. Om Shanti. I am peace. When you're ready, come back to your normal awareness. Thank you for your kind attention. Safe journey home.
Thank you, Sister Daksha, for the wonderful talk and all the tools and tips given. We have a lot to take away tonight. Before we go, it's a few announcements. Our regular talk next week, same time, same place. And the topic is Truth as a Catalyst for Change. Our regular reflective meditations, which is every Mondays and Thursdays, which is in-house, 7 to 7:30 in the evening. And if you wish to join online, which is every Sunday morning, 10 to 10:45. Next Raj Yoga meditation course starting on 2nd of September, in-house. Timing for that is 10:30 to 12:45. 2nd of September, Monday. And also on the 2nd of September, Monday, we have a Raj Yoga meditation course, which is fast track one, and it's online only, and timing is 6 to 7. If you wish to join it online, you register through Inner Space Wembley website, and you will get a link to join. And on 7th of September, Saturday, like not the coming Saturday, the following Saturday, we have an in-house building self-esteem course. And that's the timing is 2 to 4. That's everything for announcements. And in line of tonight's evening theme, we do have a book called Feeling Great, and also a Companion of God. They both available in the shop, so you can browse through on your way out. Once again, thank you for joining us, and thank you, our online viewers, to joining us as well, and have a safe journey back home. Thank you.
And both these books are by Dadi Janki. So I've been quoting her quite a few times during the talk. So Companion of God is extracts from her discourses. So lovely if you haven't looked at it.